Hey there, tonight we're going to do something very different. In the spirit of mixing things up and broadening my viewership, let's talk about something that I don't think I've talked about before, at least not in any length. Now, I was a teen in the 80s, so if you were, okay, maybe you were too young to be like around the 80s period, stuff like that, but go back and like ask somebody around the my age that eat the guys. Ask them if they watched soap operas. They're gonna say no. Most of them. They're lying. It was a huge thing back then. It was the super couple put on stuff for teens and stuff like that. So I thought, hey, I haven't watched the soap opera in I did watch the Prospect Park stuff, The All My Children, One Life to Live thing that was on Hulu Plus, and enjoyed it. It was kind of interesting going back to my roots of TV watching, because at one point I wanted to act, and one of the things that I wanted to do was a soap opera, because basically it was about as close with TV that you're going to get if you want to get stage work. And movies, the idea of the way they were shot and segmented bored the hell out of me as an actor. I love movies as a viewer, but acting-wise, it didn't work for me. Uh, when I was younger, I moved away from acting into writing and directing plays and stuff when I was in high school and going on towards college. I did just the normal stuff that you do when you go to college and stuff, and you're doing like a journalism. So I acted in PSAs and stuff like that, got after a few roles, turned them down to go in a different direction with my life, and kind of left the acting thing behind. But I always had the bug. And I always thought back on fondly on the days of like watching the soaps, and I always thought that we kind of got a raw deal. You got people that are performing like usually like 300 or so days a year with very little vacation, and that goes across the board from the writers to directors to the actors, producers, what not. I mean, people talk about like the fact that that the storylines overlap and that the acting isn't always the best, but you're putting on an hour-long show for every single freaking day for a host of characters, and for years upon years upon years, and you wonder if it's gonna either overlap, if it's gonna be like bad periods. Anything's gonna have bad periods for that length of time. Now, I decided I'd give a little bit late now, but I'll give some soapish news. And that is that a soap that I didn't watch very much. I think I'd seen it a few times when I was younger, called Bold and the Beautiful. Apparently now it's like the biggest soap in the world. And it amazes me because it's like it was a kind of a spin-off of a show called Young the Restless. I know a lot of the people that watch my channel are going to know what any of this stuff is, but just bear with me. Anyway, Ron Moss, who I knew from actually some other programs, but he was kind of he was like, when you think of a soap actor and you haven't watched a soap opera, that's kind of what you think of. The chiseled guy with the limited range who just fits the role, but he fit the role because that kind of was his character. And after a while, the show hinged a lot on this character that he played, that was Ridge Forrester. And can't say I watched a lot of it, but I know that he did a good job and had chemistry with the actresses that he worked with, which is very important in a show like this. This is, of course, large in part, unless you're talking about General Hospital and some days, which was more action-oriented. Stuff like Young, the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful were more like a romanticized stories. and were meant for like for mostly for women. So anyway, last year the actor, left the role of Rich Forster, which was a huge deal because basically this was imagine okay, if you don't watch soap operas, I got to give you an analogy here. You imagine there's like an X-Men TV series and suddenly Wolverine ups and leaves. That's like the kind of importance that this character had in it. So now around this time, well, a year passes by, and he's not coming back. The character is gone, and they've placed some other actor not in that role, but in another role, kind of awkwardly to, I guess, take the place of him. And meanwhile, Prospect Park, who put off the One Life to Live and all my children's shows, which I watched and kind of to recapture that glory day of when I watched soap operas when I was a kid. And it was kind of cool because you didn't have to watch every day type thing. It was like twice a week, and you just watched on Hulu whenever you wanted to type of thing. It went a lot faster because of this. And there's an actor on there who played Zack Slater, and apparently played Zack Slater on All My Children in the series before it went off the air too. I wouldn't know that so much because I wasn't a watcher of the soap operas at that point. No, it's just picked it up again for Hulu Plus. Unfortunately, both those shows got canceled after a season because of a legal disagreement with ABC, and that's another video on of itself. So the actor that played Zack Slater, Thorsten Kaye, is an Irish actor, but I guess and a lot of times, like maybe it's the Massey accent, but he does like he has a raspy voice type of thing, kind of the tough guy, and he's taken over the role of Ridge Forster, and Thorsten Kaye is actually one of those guys that's an actor. He's got some decent chops behind him. We're not talking about the average soap opera pretty boy type of character. He's joked himself in interviews that if he comes back from as playing Ridge with plastic surgery, then Ridge is going to want his money back to go from Ron Moss to Thorsten Kaye. And it's not that bad, but it's an interesting fact. So I don't know of anyone that has ever watched anything soap operatic or knows who any of these characters or actors are. If you do, sir, have the guts to comment down below and let me know. Just trying something different, doing like a basic, like random free flow talk about a topic that was just kind of interested me. I used to watch these things when I was a kid, and I mean, back when I watched the shows, they were mostly like the soap operas that I watched were mostly about serial killers and spies and stuff like that. I don't know if they still do that now, because I know that One Life to Live, when the Prospect Park one did do like kind of a shadow organization spy type of thing, which is why I watched it. And the All My Children, like the fast one, did a kind of a Russian mob storyline, which was pretty cool. But did you ever watch soap opera? Did a casting change in one of those things like ever like kind of make you go, this has been a big deal in the soap opera community? I don't watch enough of those of Bold and the Beautiful, or I haven't watched enough. It's really, I know the actor that play Thorsten Kaye, and I know it's going to be playing Ridge, and I know the work of the actor Ron Moss, so I do know what a difference it is. But I don't know the character of Ridge Forster very well. I don't know. I really don't know. But apparently it's a big deal in the soap opera world. And I guess when somebody's been on the show for like 20 years or so, and they recast them with somebody else, even an actor that's arguably better, that there's going to be some type of backlash. Kind of back in the days when I watched Days of Our Lives, the recasted the character of Bo, played for years by Peter Reckell, with character actor Robert Kelker Kelly, who was kind of one of those chameleon actors that comes in and just does everything. One of those wonderkins that you think you'd see in like some big movies and stuff like that, but he's just one of those guys that comes in, does a bit of stuff, and goes on again and makes his money and just works when he wants to. There are some actually really, really great actors that work within the soap opera industry. And some of them you may have seen in movies and stuff, and a lot of time they play character roles. And I make no bones about my, there's no apologeticness in here. I grew up in a time when soap operas were extremely well done and extremely important to teens. They were catering towards us at the time. And they were well done. So I'm not a snob when it comes to stuff like this. I like what I like, and I watched Days back in the Roman Brady Stefano Di Mira days. I watched Santa Barbara back when Cruz Castillo was going up against Kirk Cranston, and I watched Edge of Night go off the air as yet another murder happened right at the end, because I don't know how anybody was alive at the end of Edge of Night, because if you Google it, because this show was a murder a week type of thing. One of the best ones, the creepiest ones. And here, you want to YouTube something that's kind of creepy for a soap opera? I'm not sure if it's on here or not, but the puppet murder on Edge of Night was done pretty freaking creepy. There's also something, and I know it's not on here, with Another World back in the day. Oh God, I was really young, and I think I was even around. I may have seen it in the rerun type of thing at the time, and you know it's hard to get reruns of soaps, but at the time there was like, I had friends that had taped off stuff, and there was a character named Sven, and played by Robert Blossom. And in case you don't remember who Robert Blossom is, or you're wondering why that name kind of sounds familiar, well, if you're a horror fan, you probably know him from the movie Deranged, which, you know, is one of Tom Savini's worked on. But if you're a fan of family films, then you know him as the next door neighbor, the old guy in Home Alone. That's Robert Blossom. Great character actor, and yeah, he did his time on soap, same as guys like Billy D. Williams, Chris Reeve, and many, many other actors, including Morgan Freeman. So that's my talk right here. Went on for a little bit longer than I wanted to, or I thought it was going to. Tell me, do you watch any of the soap operas now? I don't, so I don't know what they're, if any of the ones are going on the way that I like. I know that I did tune in to General Hospital a couple times to watch James Franco as a psychotic, and that was pretty cool. I gotta say, James Franco did an amazing job. And my favorite actor that still acts in soaps, I think, because I think he was on One Life to Live. I think he was on General. I know he's on General Hospital. But I'm guessing he's still on it. Maybe was Roger Howarth, and he played Todd Manning on One Life to Live for years, and was just a character that could have been a one note. It was like a frat boy, rapist character. That, of course, you have to turn him good because he's like a. But they don't turn him good because the actor wouldn't let them do it. Soaps are famous for anti-heroes. Oddly complex characters that go between the gray area between good or evil. And that's one of the things that I like about shows like that, is that they actually show stuff like that. One of my friends told me that soap operas, was kind of an unrealistic thing. So, because of all the crazy stuff that happens in it. But if you actually think about your life, me, for instance, this year I went with my better half to meet her parents for the first time, to have like a whole commitment ceremony and kind of like be a couple. So in soap operatic terms, I met a girl from a foreign country, flew halfway across the world with my kids, had a lavish ceremony in a place that was gigantic to me. It doesn't get more soap operatic than that. Thanks for watching, guys, and right now it is seriously time for tea.